There is something uniquely special about a great single-player game on PC. No lobbies to wait in, no teammates to rely on, no online connection dropping at the worst possible moment. Just you, a great story, an incredible world, and hardware powerful enough to render every single detail of it in ways consoles can only dream about. Single-player gaming on PC is the purest form of the medium. And in 2026, the library has never been stronger. From sprawling open-world epics to tight, focused narrative masterpieces, from brutally challenging action games to emotionally devastating story experiences, PC single-player gaming in 2026 has something for every kind of player, and all of it looks absolutely stunning at max settings. Today, we've handpicked the very best of it. These are the PC single-player games you need to play in 2026. No distractions, no teammates, just pure gaming perfection. Let's get into it.
Forget the fast dash and shoot combat from the last two Doom games. The Dark Ages slows things down and hands you a shield you can throw like a buzzsaw, parry with, and use to close distance on demons twice your size. It's a medieval meets sci-fi origin story for the Doomslayer, complete with mech battles and a dragon you can actually ride into combat. The power fantasy here is different, less about pure speed, more about feeling unstoppable in melee range while chainsawing through waves of hell's worst. It's brutal, it's loud, and it commits fully to a new identity instead of just repeating what worked before.
This is the Indiana Jones game fans have wanted for decades, and it finally nails the feeling of being him instead of just watching him. First-person exploration mixed with brawler combat, puzzle-heavy temples, and a whip that's actually useful for climbing, disarming enemies, and pulling off ridiculous escapes. The globe-trotting structure sends you from the Vatican to the jungles of Sumatra to frozen mountain ranges, and every location is stuffed with side content, hidden relics, and photograph challenges that reward actual curiosity. Troy Baker channels Harrison Ford so well you'll forget it's not him. If you grew up loving these movies, this is the closest a game has ever gotten to living inside one.
Aloy returns to a broken future America, chasing a dying planet and machines built like living dinosaurs made of metal. The combat here rewards actual thinking. Target weak points, rip off parts mid-fight, use the terrain, or get flattened by a thunderjaw the size of a house. Forbidden West expands everything the first game did well. Bigger tribes, deeper crafting, underwater exploration, flying mounts that turn traversal into pure fun. The complete edition folds in the Burning Shores expansion too, so you're getting the full story in one package. It's one of the best looking games ever built for PC, and the machine designs alone are worth booting it up for.
Jin Sakai starts the game as a samurai, following honor above all else, and ends it as something else entirely, forced to become a ghost to save his island from the Mongol invasion. The combat is stylish and brutal, built around stance switching and a standoff system that turns every duel into a cinematic showdown. But it's the world that steals the show, wind guiding you instead of a map marker, foxes leading you to hidden shrines, fields of pampas grass moving like something out of a painting. The director's cut adds Iki Amond, an entire extra chapter of Jin's descent. Play it with a controller, turn on Kurosawa mode, and it feels like a different film every session.
Arthur Morgan's story is one of the few in gaming that actually earns its emotional ending. This is a slow burn, a wanted outlaw watching his gang and his own morals fall apart in the dying days of the Wild West. But it's also one of the most detailed open worlds ever built. Horses with real weight, weather that changes how towns behave, wildlife that reacts to you like you're actually there. You can lose 40 hours just hunting, fishing, and writing without touching a single story mission. It's not fast, it's not flashy, but few games make you feel the passage of time and the cost of violence the way this one does. This is the game people point to when they say choices actually matter. Every conversation branches, every companion has an arc worth following, and combat runs on real Dungeons & Dragons rules, so creative solutions genuinely work. Want to talk your way past a fight, set an entire building on fire, or turn into a bear mid-conversation? All valid, all possible. It's over 100 hours long, and somehow every playthrough feels different because your party, your choices, and your class all reshape the story. Years after launch, it's still the benchmark other RPGs get measured against. If you've never played a game that lets you fail upward into hilarious chaos, start here.
You already know the name, but here's why it still belongs on every must-play list heading into 2026. An open world built by the same minds behind Dark Souls and Bloodborne, dropped into a map so dense you'll find secrets on your 50th hour. Bosses that feel unfair until suddenly they don't, because you finally understood the pattern. Shadow of the Erdtree added an entire second game's worth of content, and Night Rain gave the world a wild new roguelike spin. This is one of those rare games people finish and immediately start again with a different build. If you've been putting it off because it looks intimidating, that difficulty is exactly the point, and it's worth every death.
No magic, no dragons, just a peasant named Henry trying to survive 15th century Bohemia, where a sword fight can be lost because you never learn to actually sword fight. This game punishes main character syndrome. You can starve, get sick, get robbed, or talk your way out of a beating if your speech skill is good enough. Two massive regions, a story that treats every choice like it has weight, and combat so deep, some players spend hours just training before touching the main quest. It's slower, heavier, and more honest than almost anything else on this list. If you want a world that doesn't bend around you, Henry's story will humble you fast, and you'll thank it for that.
You are the Destined One, a monkey warrior clawing through a shattered version of Journey to the West, and this game does not ease you in. Bosses hit like freight trains, transformations let you become the enemies you kill, and every region hides a boss fight that will humble you in under 10 seconds. It's Souls-like in structure, but wears a completely different skin. Chinese mythology rendered with a level of detail that makes cutscenes feel like moving paintings. This isn't a game you rush. It's a game you get furious at, then can't stop thinking about until you go back and finally land the kill. If brutal combat wrapped in myth and spectacle is your thing, this belongs at the top of your list.
Picture a turn-based RPG that plays like an action game. Every enemy attack is dodgeable, parryable, timed to the beat of your reflexes. That's Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. A giant painted number counts down every year, and everyone at that age vanishes. Your squad is the next expedition sent to kill the being responsible before your own numbers come up. Belle Epoque France reimagined as a crumbling, gorgeous nightmare, a cast that actually breaks your heart and combat that keeps you locked in instead of watching menus scroll by. It swept Game of the Year conversations in 2025 for a reason, and it's still pulling in new players who can't believe a small studio built something this tight. If you skipped it last year, 2026 is your second chance, and it's not a small one.
Kratos and Atreus face down the actual end of the world, Ragnarok itself, and this game does not waste a single one of its hours getting there. The combat builds on everything the 2018 reboot did. Heavier weapons, brutal finishers, a Blades of Chaos and Leviathan Axe combo system that never gets old. But it's the story that hits hardest. A father trying to change, a son growing into someone his father can't control anymore, wrapped inside Norse mythology brought to life with genuine care. Every realm feels handcrafted. Every boss fight feels like an event. If you want a game that's equal parts spectacle and gut punch, this closes out the list as one of the best stories in gaming.
Forget stamina bars and dodge rolling. Sekiro is built entirely around posture and the perfect parry, a rhythm-based sword duel disguised as an action game. One wrong read against a boss and you're dead in 2 hits. One perfect deflect chain and you just ended a fight that looked impossible 30 seconds earlier. The prosthetic arm adds tools, grappling hooks, fire, axes, that change how you approach every encounter, and the verticality of the world makes exploration feel like its own puzzle. This is the hardest game on this list, no argument, but the moment posture breaks and you land the killing blow, nothing else compares to that feeling.
Pinocchio, but he's a killing machine fighting through a collapsing Belle Epoque city overrun by murderous puppets.
This is a Souls-like through and through, punishing bosses, tight parry windows, and a weapon crafting system that lets you mix and match blades and handles into something completely your own. The twist is the lie system. Every dishonest choice quietly shapes who Pinocchio becomes by the end. It's dark, it's stylish, and it proves a smaller studio can go toe-to-toe with the genre's biggest names. If Bloodborne's gothic atmosphere is your favorite kind of nightmare, this scratches that exact itch with its own identity.
The remake didn't just update the graphics, it rebuilt the entire game around modern survival horror pacing. Leon returns to rescue the president's daughter from a cult in rural Spain, and what follows is somehow both scarier and more action-packed than the 2005 original. Parries are new, ammo is tighter, enemies are smarter, and the village siege still holds up as one of gaming's most iconic set pieces. It respects everything that made the original a classic while fixing the parts that aged badly. If horror games usually make you tense, this one earns every jump, every chase, and every moment you're down to your last bullet.
Feudal Japan finally gets the Assassin's Creed treatment, and it comes with 2 playable leads instead of 1. Naoe is a shinobi built for stealth, shadows, and silent kills. Yasuke is a samurai built for open combat, armor-crushing hits, and walking straight through the front door. Switching between them changes how you approach every mission, sometimes in the same castle. The seasons actually shift the world. Snow changes stealth options, cherry blossoms change how towns feel, and the castle infiltration missions are some of the best level design the series has produced in years. If you want a massive, gorgeous open world with 2 very different power fantasies stitched together, this delivers both.